Hello, cartoon racers. We have this Choro-Q super deformed Honda NSX from the year 2000. And so I looked up a 2000 year NSX Raybrig. I have no idea what Raybrig is. If anyone knows, please leave a comment. This was 700 yen, or around $7, way back 20 years ago. But there's been almost no inflation in Japan, so it's probably like less than $8 even in today's money. I don't know if this is brand new. This looks obviously open, but this side was never opened. Anyways, it's quite yellowed. Okay, limited special of some sort. Alright. So let's see if these images match up at all. I think it's pretty close actually. The stripes going across the hood. The front end, the holes though in the bumper don't match. I'm gonna guess that, you know, this casting was like a generic NSX casting and they just threw this livery on it. So I guess it works. I mean, it doesn't even have the high wing of the race car. So this looks like the mold of a regular street car. But they're stretching out their dollars, you know. And I'm okay with it. I mean, after all, it is a cartoon car. Okay. Let's take a look here and see what kind of details they managed to get on this casting. So we have some really tight panel gaps here because it's plastic. This white residue of the tires isn't actually a concern. If you start collecting these, you just wipe it off and it just looks new again. So it's no big deal. I do like all the printing, you know, it's all done with like tampos, it's not decals, so they'll pretty much stay good forever. Because this is a plastic body, there's no zinc casting where it's outgassing and causing paint rash. So, I mean, this thing is 20 years old, right? Whoa, this thing is from 1991, copyright of 1980. This is the oldest, I think it's the oldest Choro-Q I have. So, I mean, knowing that this thing is like 3 decades old, look at it, right? Plastic and tampo prints, if done properly, can last a long time. Wow, I'm quite impressed that this is that old and it looks that nice. Okay, well, let's see here. Number 11 Raybrig. I have no idea what this is, if it's a special collection. Obviously no taillights either. Would have been nice to have some red printing there. But again, if this is from 30 years ago, maybe this is as good as it got back then. I think this HG means it's high grade, so it's a little bit better than the standard ChoroQs, which I believe because it just has all this printing over it. You'll notice the Honda badge is actually molded into the plastic, although it's not painted. And then this number 100, I have no idea what SPA Air is, or Avex Group, Avex Group, no idea. So, sadly, this marketing of sponsorship on a race car didn't actually help, because I know absolutely nothing about any of these sponsors. But again, leave a comment if you know. Alright, so it says number 30 of this line. I'm going to do a 3D wheel swap. I looked at these images of the race car. It looks like it's running TE37s by Rays, or Volk Racing. And so I 3D printed some up. So let's get that out of the way. Pop this open. Okay, so here's the construction of the inside. It's actually not a clear plastic, it's like a white plastic, and then the cockpit is a separate piece. Those are 2 tabs holding that down. I would have never guessed that. The seam it's seamless, you know. I just assumed this is one piece of plastic, just painted really nice. But no, it's actually 2 pieces of plastic, just fit very nice. So very impressive. Oh look, there's real vents too. I didn't see that from the front. It turns out, you know, this, well, yeah, interesting. So real vents. Okay, so I gotta pull the tires off this. I'm gonna reuse them on my 3D prints. Let's get this out of the way. The axle is ahead of it. Usually it's trapped by the motor, but in this case, it's not. Alright, pull these tires off. So here's my 3D print of a TE37, and I'm not sure, there's some lines there because I actually have this dished out a little bit, but I think I'm going to modify the file and just make it flat so you don't see those printing lines of each level that the 3D printer printed. Okay, so I gotta put these tires on this guy. So this being a race car, I'm actually gonna use the stock axles, I think. Sometimes I use putty and then I have camber, but this is a race car. They don't really run street style camber. So I'm gonna have to take the wheels off the standard motor and all that stuff. Now, it's on pretty tight. I'm just trying to twist. Now, I need some pliers. So I'm gonna come back. Okay, so I put the wheels on. The red knockoffs are on the right side, and then the blues are on the left side of the car. I kind of see the brake system back there, hopefully. Maybe not. They're pretty far in. Yeah, that might be too much light. Yeah, 1 lumen. So I have gold calipers, kind of blackish rotors. But they spin with the wheels, of course. So this thing actually... Oh, I have a little... The front axle's too tight. So it doesn't want to roll. Okay. Alright, well anyways, that's what's going on there. I think it looks more like the real photograph now. So let's take a look at a couple other models. So the first one would be an actual 1/64 scale NSX. So I have this one by Inno64. This is the NA2. I guess it's the facelifted first generation. I don't have a regular first generation, but this will do for today. Alright, a couple other race cars I have from ChoroQ. I have this GTR from the 2001 Super GT series, and you'll notice this photograph, so it's almost playing out. Although the GTR is really tall, you know, it's so cartooned, it physically looks wider as well. When is this? When did this come out? Let's take a look. So this is from 2002, this one. So maybe they decided somewhere along the way in that 10-year span that they wanted to make their model slightly bigger. The actual footprint seems like similar. I'm going to throw up this Toyota Supra as well. So let's look at the top view. So all the ChoroQs actually have similar footprints, but for some reason the NSX is much lower. You know, even the Supra is really tall as well. Alright, well, anyways, as I say, it's a pretty old one. Let's let this guy spin on its own on this little racing coaster here. So it's another cool ChoroQ, I think. I'm really liking collecting these things. Partially because they're smaller than actual 1/64 scales, and I don't see a need to actually own the same casting in 1/64 scale, you know, just for different liveries. I'll do it sometimes, but it's not necessary all the time. So even though I have an NSX, you know, this is a totally different livery, and you know, the ChoroQs give me that opportunity to collect different liveries because it's physically a different mold than, say, a regular scale vehicle. Alright, well, I'll see you again the next time I'm doing a ChoroQ review. Thanks for tuning in.